I can definitely expand the script and make it more gripping for an American audience, focusing on powerful imagery and a relentless pace from start to finish. However, generating over 20,000 characters in a single response might be too long for this format. Instead, I will generate a significantly extended, highly dramatic, and action-packed version of the script designed to be immediately engaging for text-to-speech, focusing on a more intense narrative and deeper dives into the technology and the human element. It will be considerably longer than the original, aiming for maximum impact. Let's begin. The radar return, a phantom pulse, barely the size of a golf ball, yet screaming across the Persian Gulf at 115 miles per hour. On the sleek dark glass of the AN Spy-1DV radar array, it's a flickering ghost, a digital whisper of death. But the Aegis combat system, the very brain of the destroyer, does not deal in ghosts. It deals in cold, hard physics, 94 seconds to impact. Inside the Combat Information Center of an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, the air is a sterile, chilled contrast to the suffocating humidity outside. Every screen glows with purpose. Every sailor a finely tuned instrument of war. Track 7042, speed 100 knots, profile matches loitering munition. Origin, Iranian coastal sector 4. The voice is calm, professional, yet carries the weight of impending destruction. The threat is identified. The response is instantaneous. A primal roar, a violent compressed blast, as the RIM 116 rolling airframe missile erupts from its rail, shedding smoke and fire as it claws at the sky. Mid-flight, its infrared seeker awakens, a digital eye scanning the vast, empty canvas of the sky for the telltale friction heat, the faint signature of a fiberglass nose cone. 42 seconds to impact. The drone, a Russian-supplied Garand-2, is an automaton of annihilation, devoid of a defensive suite, devoid of a pilot, devoid of fear. It possesses only a programmed flight path, a vector toward destruction. The RIM 116, a guided steel predator, executes a 3-degree correction at a staggering Mach 2, approximately 1,534 miles per hour, a surgical strike in the vastness of the heavens. The intercept occurs just 3 miles from the ship. The 25-pound fragmentation warhead detonates, not with a roar, but with a silent, blinding flash, unleashing a cloud of tungsten pellets. These tiny, lethal projectiles rip through the Russian-built airframe, transforming it into 5,000 pieces of shredded carbon fiber and atomized fuel. The Garand-2 disintegrates, vanishes in a puff of lethal smoke. Kill confirmed. The kill chain, ever vigilant, ever relentless, moves to the next logical node. The sequence is not merely engaged, it is fully, irrevocably committed. For months, Western intelligence agencies, silent observers in the global chess match, have been meticulously documenting a fundamental, ominous shift in the tactical axis of the Middle East. For years, the flow of these insidious loitering munitions moved exclusively from Tehran to Moscow, a steady torrent fueling the brutal war in Ukraine. But now the pipeline has reversed. The Kremlin, in a move calculated to destabilize and project power, is shipping Russian localized variants of the Shahed 13-6 dubbed the Garand-2 back to Iran. These shipments are not just hardware, they represent a dangerous transfer of Russian battlefield data, hardened guidance systems forged in the fires of conflict, and localized manufacturing techniques designed for mass production. The Kremlin predictably rejects these reports as fabrications, maintaining a diplomatic facade of denial, claiming no such military cooperation exists. But the kill web, the integrated network of sensors and intelligence, sees through the diplomatic lies. It sees the truth in the thermal signatures, the data streams, the cold hard facts of logistics. High above the clouds, a silent sentinel in the vast expanse, the SBIRS satellite constellation meticulously monitors the specific thermal signatures of the Russian heavy-lift transport fleet. An Ilyushin Il-76, a hulking metallic beast, lumbers into the sky from a military airfield near the Russian border. Its cavernous cargo hold is packed with crates, each containing modular drone components. These are not basic weapons, these are upgraded Russian guidance packages, featuring the Kometa-M anti-jamming satellite receiver, designed to cut through even the most sophisticated electronic countermeasures. The Aegis I, a tireless digital guardian, tracks the Ilyushin Il-76 as it traverses the vast shimmering expanse of the Caspian Sea and penetrates Iranian airspace. The data, raw and unyielding, is instantly fused into the regional tactical picture, building an unparalleled understanding of the unfolding threat. The kill web constructs a digital twin, a perfect mirror of the logistics chain. We know the exact flight duration of the transport planes. We know the precise weight of the crates. We even know the probable battery life of the guidance chips, even before they are unboxed on the scorching tarmac. A chilling visual metaphor becomes essential to grasp the sheer scale and intent of this new threat. Imagine a relentless fleet of used pickup trucks, each one crammed with 100 pounds of high explosives being delivered daily to a clandestine launch site the size of a football field. Each of these drones, these automated instruments of terror, costs roughly $30,000 to produce. That is less than the price of a mid-sized SUV. Russia is not dispatching a precision scalpel. They are unleashing a blizzard, a storm of cheap, deadly projectiles. The strategic intent is clear, audacious, and economically brutal: to ensnare the US Navy in an economic trap. They want to force us to expend a $2,100,000 Standard Missile-2 to destroy a mere $30,000 drone. It is a battle of attrition, cunningly disguised as a technological skirmish. But the kill web, designed not just for destruction but for intelligent defense, is engineered to solve for return on investment with the same ruthless efficiency as it solves for intercept geometry. We track the crates, these harbingers of destruction, from the moment they leave the airfield to their hidden launch sites nestled along the rugged coast. Every stop the trucks make, every pause in their journey is logged into an unbreakable database, shared instantaneously across the entire fleet. Sensors embedded in every F-35C Lightning II soaring through the region contribute a single vital pixel to the colossal, ever-evolving picture. We are not just observing the enemy, we are watching their inventory in real time, a silent, all-seeing eye. Before a single engine is even sparked to life, the kill web has already assigned a tiered, cost-effective solution to every airframe in that shipment. The tracking continues, relentless, as the crates are moved to mobile launch rails. These rails are often cunningly disguised as civilian shipping containers, blending seamlessly into the tapestry of commerce. To the untrained eye, it is merely the mundane flow of goods. To the integrated network, it is a high-priority target set patiently awaiting the execute command. If you have ever stood watch, ever maintained these intricate weapon systems in the suffocating, soul-sapping heat of the Gulf, you understand the stakes. Drop a comment below, share your perspective. We pour billions of dollars, immense resources, and countless hours of unwavering vigilance into ensuring these vital sea lanes remain open, that global energy prices remain manageable for American families. Do you believe that investment is truly worth the profound security it provides? We read every single comment and we are eternally grateful for your service and your invaluable perspective. The launch, when it comes, is precisely at 3:14 local time. The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, emboldened by their new Russian arsenal, employs a saturation attack strategy, a brutal wave assault utilizing the newly supplied Garan 2 and Shahed 136 drones. They launch an unholy swarm of 40 drones in a compressed, terrifying window of just 3 minutes. The objective is insidious: to overwhelm and saturate the ship's radar processors, to create such a dizzying multitude of tracks that the system cannot possibly prioritize the real threats amidst the digital chaos. The drones rise from their mobile launch rails, not like missiles, but like a swarm of angry, low-frequency wasps, their small engines droning a prelude to destruction. They hug the waves, flying at an altitude of just 150 feet, exploiting the curvature of the Earth, staying below the radar horizon of land-based sensors, a creeping menace across the water. On the bridge of the USS Gerald R. Ford, the atmosphere is one of profound professional clinical focus. There is no panic, only the steel-nerved calm of highly trained professionals facing down a complex threat. The ship's dual-band radar, a technological marvel, detects the swarm the instant the drones clear the coastal dunes. The Aegis I, the digital brain of the carrier strike group, immediately begins the relentless sorting process. It identifies 40 distinct tracks, each assigned a unique, irrevocable digital identifier. It calculates 40 distinct intercept points, factoring in every variable, current wind speed, humidity, and the precise velocity of each drone. Threat level, high I. Engagement logic, tiered defense. The first layer of defense is not a thunderous explosion or a searing flash of light. It is silent, invisible, yet devastatingly effective. The AN/LQ-32 V7 Electronic Warfare Suite, the cutting-edge Surface Electronic Warfare Improvement Program, activates with a surge of digital power. The system floods the sky with high-gain digital noise, a torrent of electromagnetic interference. It specifically targets the Russian Kometa M GPS receivers embedded deep within the drone's guidance systems. This is the soft kill phase, a digital knockout punch. For 12 of the drones, the world suddenly goes black. Their internal gyroscopes, starved of a satellite lock, unable to find their orientation, begin to drift wildly. Within seconds, these drones lose their sense of up, their programmed flight paths dissolving into chaos. 4 of them, disoriented, bank violently and spiral into the churning sea 5 miles from the coast, mere scraps of metal and plastic swallowed by the waves. 3 others, following degraded, confused flight paths, collide violently in midair, a shower of sparks and carbon fiber raining down into the dark water. But 28 drones remain, a persistent, deadly menace. They are now 30 miles out from the carrier strike group, closing the distance with chilling speed. The destroyer in the screen, an Arleigh Burke-class Titan, begins its kinetic sequence. It does not lead with its most expensive, most powerful missiles. It adheres to the sequence principle, using the right tool for the specific range and cost. A brutal ballet of economic efficiency and destructive power. The ship launches the RIM-62 Evolved Sea Sparrow missile. This is the medium-range solution, a swift, precise instrument of interception. The RIM-6T leaves its vertical launch cell with a thunderous roar that shakes the very deck plates, a profound vibration that resonates through the soles of the sailors' boots. It accelerates to a staggering Mach 4 over 3,000 miles per hour in a matter of mere seconds. The RIM-6T employs a blast fragmentation warhead designed not for direct impact, but to detonate in the immediate vicinity of the target, creating a lethal kill zone of high-velocity shrapnel. One missile detonates with surgical precision in the center of a 3-drone formation. The kinetic energy unleashes like a sledgehammer striking a pane of glass. The drones are not merely disabled, they are pulverized, reduced to airborne debris. 8 drones are wiped from the radar screen in the first 12 seconds of this missile engagement. Now the remaining 20 drones are at the 10-mile mark, a rapidly diminishing distance. They are closing at an unrelenting 170 feet per second. This is where the engagement becomes visceral, a close-quarters struggle against a determined foe. The ship's 5-inch Mark 45 gun, a formidable weapon of last resort, slews with a powerful hydraulic wind toward the horizon. It is loaded with hypervelocity projectiles, shells that cost a mere fraction of a guided missile but travel at an astounding 5,600 miles per hour. The sound of the 5-inch gun is a rhythmic, chest-thumping concussion, each shell a thunderclap against the sea. Each shell is guided to its intercept point with unerring accuracy by the ship's advanced fire control radar. They detonate in the flight path of the drones, creating a terrifying wall of lead and shrapnel, an impenetrable barrier that the drones cannot possibly navigate. The shrapnel shreds fiberglass wings, punctures small 2-stroke engines. 5 more drones plummet into the waves, their fuel tanks trailing angry plumes of fire against the dark water. 15 drones remain. They are within 3 miles of the inner layer of defense. This is the deep defense zone, the point of no return. The failing CIWS close-in weapon system wakes up, a sleeping mechanical beast suddenly roaring to life. The distinctive white pill-shaped radar dome tracks the nearest drone with terrifying, almost sentient precision. The 6-barrel 20mm Gatling gun spins up, reaching an insane 4,500 rounds per minute. The sound is not merely a burst, it is a continuous, terrifying growl, a mechanical predator unleashed, resonating through the very steel of the ship, a sound that promises absolute destruction. The first drone in the line simply ceases to exist. It is struck by 50 rounds in less than half a second. It doesn't crash, it transforms into a cloud of dust and burning gasoline. 1,000 yards out, a testament to the sheer, unbridled kinetic energy. The Phalanx CIWS slews to the next target, then the next, its mechanical efficiency absolute, relentless. One drone through a statistical anomaly, a random atmospheric gust manages to evade the blistering stream of lead. It is the lucky survivor, closing to within 500 yards of the ship's hull. A desperate final lunge. The RIM 116 rolling airframe missile launcher on the aft deck is already locked, already primed. The missile leaves the rail, covering the 500 yards in less than a second. The impact is so incredibly close that the bridge crew, those calm, focused professionals, can see the angry orange flash of the drone's 100-pound warhead detonating harmlessly over the sea, its destructive potential diffused, neutralized. 114 seconds have elapsed since the initial radar lock. In that astonishingly brief window, 40 incoming threats were identified, engaged, and utterly annihilated, resulting in 40 confirmed kinetic kills. The U.S. Navy sustained 0 casualties. The deck of the destroyer, moments after the tempest of steel and fire, is littered with spent 20mm casings, reeking of hot brass and cordite. The Aegis I, having executed its purpose with surgical precision, returns to its silent, omnipresent surveillance state. The sequence beats firepower, not because one weapon is a silver bullet, but because the kill web is an interdependent, self-correcting organism. The satellite constellation provided the early vital warning. The electronic warfare suite delivered the initial confusion, sowing chaos in the enemy's ranks. The tiered kinetic layers from the sophisticated Sea Sparrow to the thundering Gatling gun provided the absolute finality. The Russian drones failed, not because of mechanical glitches, but because they were ghost weapons, hardware operating without a network, individual actors trying to storm a fortress built of integrated real-time data. They were an analog solution to a digital problem, and the digital problem devoured them whole. But the US Navy does not stop at defense. In the relentless logic of the kill web, a successful defense is merely the first half of a counter-battery sequence, a prelude to a decisive counterstrike. While the swarm of drones was being systematically dismantled, a pair of FA-18E Super Hornets launched from the massive deck of the USS Gerald R. Ford were already orbiting at 30,000 feet, silent, deadly eagles in the sky. They weren't hunting drones, they were hunting the origin, the very source of the attack. The data, the intelligence gathered from the initial detection of the Russian shipment, the intricate truck routes, the precise thermal signatures of the launch rails, all of it is now piped directly into the cockpit of the lead Super Hornet. This is the sensor-to-shooter link, the ultimate fusion of intelligence and overwhelming force. The pilot doesn't need to search. The ship has already painted the target for him, a glowing bullseye in the digital landscape. Target acquired. Coordinates confirmed by Aegis. Master arm on. Under the wing of the FA-18E Super Hornet, the AGM-154 JSOU Joint Standoff Weapon is ready for release. This is a GPS-guided glide bomb with an approximate range of 70 miles, roughly the distance from Washington, D.C. to the outskirts of Baltimore. The pilot releases the AGM-154 JSOU. It doesn't drop like a traditional bomb, plummeting earthward. Instead, it gracefully deploys its wings and begins a silent, stealthy glide toward the Iranian coast. It follows a pre-programmed path, a serpentine dance that weaves around known air defense radars, an invisible arrow aimed at the heart of the enemy's logistics. On the ground, the IRGC crews, unaware of the impending doom, are frantically attempting to reload their mobile launch rails with the next batch of Russian-supplied Garan 2 drones. They operate under a false assumption of safety, positioned 40 miles behind the coastline, believing themselves secure. The AGM-154 JSOU arrives with zero acoustic warning. It has no roaring jet engine to betray its approach. It simply appears, a silent, deadly apparition from the sky. The 500-pound warhead detonates in the absolute center of the staging area. The Russian-built trucks, the spare drone crates, the very launch rails, all are vaporized in a single cataclysmic kinetic release. Secondary explosions ripple through the site as the drone fuel bladders ignite, a chain reaction of fire and destruction. The kill web, ever vigilant, monitors the thermal bloom from space via the SBR satellites. Target neutralized, zero collateral detected, vectoring for carrier recovery. The FA-18E Super Hornet banks hard, its mission accomplished, returning to the waiting carrier. The mission, swift and decisive, deleted the enemy's ability to attempt a second wave. The logistics chain, which Russia had meticulously worked for months to establish, was severed in less than 10 minutes. For the Kremlin, this was a strategic gamble that failed to yield a return, a catastrophic miscalculation. They invested millions of dollars and months of painstaking logistical effort to arm Iran with their best localized drone technology. They hoped to prove that mass-produced, low-cost assets could break the back of the US Navy's integrated defense. They were met not with chaos, but with a software update and an unyielding wall of tungsten. The economic trap was not just avoided, it was utterly neutralized by employing a tiered mix of sophisticated electronic warfare, precisely aimed 5-inch shells, and the overwhelming firepower of close-in guns. The US Navy spent a mere fraction of the enemy's investment to utterly defeat the swarm. We didn't just win the engagement, we won the crucial ROI battle. This is the stark reality of the modern kill web. It isn't just about having the biggest gun, it's about having the fastest, most intelligent logic. It's about ensuring that every single Russian shipment, every single Iranian launch is met with a response so overwhelmingly efficient, so economically devastating, that the adversary eventually runs out of money, resources, and will, long before we ever run out of ammunition. The IRGC commanders are now left staring at charred launch pads, at smoldering wreckage, and at empty crates, mute witnesses to their failed aggression. The Russian technology they relied on didn't fail because of a mechanical glitch, a design flaw, or a pilot error. It failed because it was an analog solution to a digital problem, a primitive approach against a hyper-advanced integrated network. In the unforgiving ledger of the kill web, the threat has been erased. The network remains at ready, vigilant, tireless. The sea remains open, a vital artery of global commerce and freedom. And the mission, the eternal mission of defending American interests and global security, continues, unrelenting, unyielding.